Yeah, I thought it'd be fun to make a documentary type video talking about coronavirus and how it's affected most of us and how it's affected people that I know personally. This way, in the future, I'll be able to look back at this video and it's just unprecedented how many people have been affected by this pandemic. I thought it'd be really interesting to make a documentary about this whole scenario and see how people are coping and see how people like freelancers are dealing with this situation, and maybe we can all learn something from this video. So yeah, sit back and enjoy this video. I'm talking to Talhah Qadeer, who is a freelance musician. Would you say that? And a student?
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, I'm a student and I DJ at weddings and play the piano as well.
Do you want to just introduce yourself before we start?
Yeah, hi, I'm Tanya. I'm a Bradfordian actor, writer, filmmaker, digital content producer.
Okay, so the first question for you is, COVID-19 has affected us all in different ways. How would you say it has affected you personally?
In a lot more ways than one. More surprising than I initially thought. Again, I thought like with the Ebola outbreak, we'll have a couple of months of it or a month at max, then we'll get over it and then back to normal again. But I don't think in like February, when it started to become a main like issue in the news, the severity of it. So now my uni's been shut for almost 3 weeks now, and in the next 3-4 weeks I've got 8 to 9 assignments to do, and I don't have access to the studios that I need to record in or any of the expensive equipment and software. So we're basically just winging it in that aspect, and also in terms of the work that I do, all the wedding bookings or any jobs that I had up until June are cancelled. So I mean, I'm pretty much in the dark about it. I'm being told just to sit back, relax and enjoy the break effectively.
So you'd say it's hitting you pretty hard, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I'd say you're in the vast majority though. Like, you're not like a lot of freelancers right now are in the same position as you are, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, 100%, because I know a lot of people, again, some that are in the same field as me, some that are, again, like YouTubers or people that work in TV or do extracurricular things that aren't a 9 to 5 or a government job. And they're doing the same thing as me, sat at home for the next possibly 2 months and told just hold out and see what happens.
So yeah, it's kind of difficult. But from the student point of view, what would you say the uni has done to support you? Seeing as though you do studio time and all this type of stuff.
They've tried their best, but I feel like, again, in terms of how the government are dealing with it, they're saying a lot, like they're talking a lot, but they're not really saying anything. We get emails, probably 20 to 30 emails in a week, and they're saying this is the changes, this is whatever, but there's nothing really telling us how it's affecting us or how we can benefit from it or what we're supposed to do. They're literally just saying, well, this is the update and find your way around it. And some lecturers, to be fair to them, have tried their best and asked us personally if we're okay and given us mental health support line numbers and all the rest of it. But if I can't go into the studio, I can't do one of my modules, meaning I don't get the 20 credits that I need to move on to the next year. And they've effectively just said, well, try to email us whatever work you can and we'll mark it that way and we'll take it into consideration. I don't know what that means. They don't know what that means. So we have to just, again, like I said, wing it and hope for the best.
I think that just shows how spontaneous the situation is. Since of people in that situation, it would be very difficult for them, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Because, again, I can't really complain because I'm a first-year student. I have to think about how it's like for these people who are academic tutors and lecturers and then third-year students as well. So final-year students who have no idea when their exams are going to be, have no idea how they're going to get graded, if they're going to get a degree in the end. And what I genuinely think there should be like a rule where whatever you're averaging or whatever your predicted grades are, or again, like let's say for example, up until now, whatever you've received should be your grade. And if you have the chance to or can complete some work, you can do that, whatever. But I don't feel like anyone should effectively get a fail unless they've purposely just given up on the year.
Yeah, because people who have a lot of potential could like not use their potential because of the situation they're in now. Like from home, they don't have studio time and all the stuff you were saying before.
And it's more than just having the facilities for it. It's about the mentally how much people are drained and demotivated.
Yeah.
Like I know for myself, I haven't done any work pretty much, or little to none work since being at home. And I'm trying to think, if I was a final year student having to write a 10,000 word dissertation, I'd barely have wrote my name on the front page.
Yeah, there'll be a mental toll on it. The mental toll on people because they can't meet their friends, you can't go outside, all these basic stuff that we're used to doing.
100%. And if you look at it again in a psychological way, home is usually away from uni, like a rest. So as soon as you come home, you put your work away, and then you sleep or you eat or whatever, etc. Uni is the place where I know a lot of people will go into the library, do work, or sit in the studio, record something, or go to these places that we have these specific spot places where our brain associates them with work. And for a lot of us, home isn't a place where you like to sit down and do any extensive work.
Yeah.
And we have to sort of change that mindset and adapt to it.
Yeah, definitely. Totally agree with you. So I've been reaching out to different freelancers to ask them how COVID-19 has been affected them personally, because I just felt like their voices weren't shouted about as much as workers. How would you say it has affected you personally?
So I've been a freelance artist, self-employed artist for about 20 years now. It is my main income, or freelance work is my main income. Being an actor, I work for theatres, I work in TV, I do voiceovers, and all that stuff is freelance. You never really class as an employee for that kind of stuff. Before COVID, I was booked to go work at a theatre for the full year, and that was away from home. A lot of my work is away from home, so I go where the work is. So home being in London at that point. So knowing I was going to be away for a year, it didn't make sense to keep my home in London, paying all that rent, and the flat would be empty.
Yeah, definitely.
So I got rid of my flat, ready to go to the Lake District where I would be working for the year. And then obviously lockdown happened and I lost my job and my home. So COVID has made me homeless and jobless. But on the positive side of all that, it's forced me to kind of use my creativity and develop other ways of income, other streams of income. So I'm developing a digital channel, as you know, that can highlight creatives in the same boat as us in our region in Bradford, and showcase our work digitally. It's not perfect, but I'm trying to make the best out of a bad situation. So there are positives and negatives, I guess.
Okay, cool. That's really interesting. It's really interesting how the bad situations brings out different sides of us in good and bad ways. So moving on to the next question, I was saying the vast majority of people are now working from home. Do you think that could be damaging in the long term, or is there a different perspective we could be looking at?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, I'd say 80 to 90% of the population that are not at work right now will be struggling to work from home. One, if you're a freelancer like me, you've got no work. If you're working in an office job, you have to get up at 7 in the morning, go downstairs, turn your laptop on or whatever, turn your phone on and get on with whatever your job would be in the office, but just at home. And then if you're working in retail or anything of that same ilk, you have nothing to do pretty much. You're told just to wait till lockdown's over and then you can get back to being paid effectively.
So I was just saying that people are basically differentiating place in their own homes and having a place for work and a place to chill, which is probably really important. So,
yeah, because I know one of my close friends works for debt advisors and they've pretty much told her, look, we're going to get back to work tomorrow, Thursday. At the time we're recording, tomorrow is going to be Thursday.
Yeah.
And they've pretty much just said to her, yeah, go downstairs, we'll send you a link to sign in from home and then keep your phone on and then we'll send you numbers to talk to people with and see if it works. And for someone that lives, especially around Bradford where you're not living in an entirely big house, you're trying to help people with their debt and then you'll hear your mum hoovering in the back, your dad on the phone over here, your sister doing X amount there, and it's not a working environment. You're not mentally prepared or even physically in the same state you would be as you would be in your professional environment.
Yeah, especially a big difference. Just like even if there's like a TV in your room, that makes a big difference. Especially if you have like young kids around you as well in the house running around. There's all these kind of factors.
100%. There's like a lot of factors that go into it, which is, I feel like, the biggest thing. People are struggling with the adaptability and adapting to a whole like different surrounding for a working environment, or just to work in general, because people are so demotivated or not in the right frame of mind to get on with what they're usually doing on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, the next question is, the vast majority of us are now working from home. Do you think that could be damaging in the long term, or is there a different perspective we could be looking at?
I think working from home has, again, its positives and negatives. My industry, the acting industry, there's only so much you can do on your own in terms of entertainment. Theatre particularly, there's a saying in theatre that all you need is one person and you have an audience, and that's theatre. Well, that's true, but we also need people to work with. So acting requires... nobody wants to sit and watch me do a monologue for 3 hours. Acting requires response and emotion between two or more people.
Yeah.
So working from home, there's only so much you can do with a webcam or a DSLR without it cutting off some of that intimacy and some of that emotion, some of that warmth.
Definitely.
But again, there are positives. It's online auditions are happening, which is cheaper than having to get a train to London. If you live in Yorkshire, trains to London and back are over £100. We don't often get time to book tickets in advance. So if you're going down to London a couple of times a month, that's pretty much your London rent. It's a couple of £100 a month. It's not cheap. So that's a positive. But yeah, there's something about my industry in particular, acting and entertainment and theatre, that requires human warmth, and there's something that we might be able to discover it, but it's not being discovered yet, that how to create that digitally.
Yeah, I understand what you mean, but it's different seeing somebody in person than seeing somebody over webcam like we are now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can be the best actor in the world, but there's always going to be some... In terms of interaction, there's always going to be like a cut-off of warmth.
Yeah, that's the difference between watching somebody on a stage and watching somebody on TV, isn't there? There's quite a big difference.
I mean, we can all be moved by films. There's films that have made us all cry, right? Or they've made us all angry. But theatre's a very different thing. Yeah, so when you're in the theatre, you experience it in a very different way to how you watch a film.
Yeah, I think there's a different type of intimacy, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, as a freelancer, what kind of support are you expecting from the government?
None.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been told to fill out forms for additional grants or whatever. I think we're told if you fill out this grant form, you'll get an 80% return on whatever you make for the month, and that's obviously taxable. But for someone like me who works or gets most of their work in a specific period, again from usually around early June till early September, that's when wedding season pretty much kicks off around here.
Yeah.
And that's where I make most of my money. I can't just say, for example, for the past month I've made da-da-da whatever, and then give me for the next month whatever is 80% of that, because in the month after that I would have made so much more, and then the month before that I would have made da-da whatever. And it just doesn't really add up in that sense for me, so I won't be filling out the form, but it's available for those who need it. And I know some people who are, like, for example, Uber taxi drivers are only getting paid £100 a month, £100 a week, where some of them make that in a day, if not more.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are struggling in that sense, not just from me as a freelancer, but people who are quote-unquote self-employed.
Yeah. So the third question is, as a freelancer, what kind of support are you expecting from the government?
So I had to apply for universal credit, as a lot of self-employed people have. We've been told, I mean, the information's changing all the time, but I think this package that the Chancellor has created for us now for self-employed people, from what I understand, and I'm speaking to my accountant tomorrow to verify all this, but from what I understand, we can claim universal credit up until June, and then in June, that is when we will receive our self-employment package, which is basically 80% of our normal monthly income.
Yeah.
Luckily or unluckily, depending on how you view it, I'm now homeless, so I don't have to pay rent. I don't have any kids. I don't have major debts. So I'm quite lucky in the fact that this £93 a month, I think it is, or is it £93 a month? £93 a week or something. I think universal credit is. I might be able to survive on that, but if you've got kids and you've got more rent to pay, mortgages are looked after. If you've got rent to pay, children, other expenses, you're going to struggle on universal credit for up until June. So I don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah,
that's what I think we're entitled to.
Well, I was speaking to Talhah before this, and he's a freelance musician, and he was saying he does weddings, and there's wedding season where you earn a lot more money than a different season, and because applying for the credit, you have to say how much you've earned in the previous month. Yeah. So there's that aspect of it too.
So they're going to go off that, and they're going to kind of give it. But then again, like you said, your friend's probably the same. There's every month's different. So, for example, say I had a low income month, and they take that into account as my normal income. Then 80% of a low income is,
yeah, it's definitely
tricky times.
It's different. Freelancing that's the difference between freelancing and working for somebody else, where you get a standard wage every month, isn't there? So
there's a difficulty with that. Again, the positives and negatives. I love working for myself. It gives me freedom to do what I want to do. It gives me freedom with my career. But then, you don't get sick pay, you don't get maternity pay, and unluckily because of COVID, we are now in a tricky situation.
So this follows on to the last question I was going to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
So the last question I was going to ask you is, if you were like Prime Minister, if you were Boris Johnson, what do you think is missing from the government's action plan?
If I was Boris Johnson, I'd get a decent haircut. But secondly, I think the problem is that we're not making a decision. We need to be pretty decisive and say, look, for example, if we're going to be on lockdown, complete lockdown, like I'm staring outside my window, I can still see people walking past. I can still see
I see children playing cricket in my streets and stuff like that.
Yeah, honestly, I see groups of people just walk past, like these two parents walking with their kids in pram, sort of having this nice little chat, like social distancing, 2 meters, stay inside, 3 weeks, not that hard. But a lot of people aren't grasping the severity of the problem, and I feel like with the lack of decision making from the government, we don't really understand what we're supposed to be doing. And we've been given these set few rules: say no to when your friends say come outside, stay 2 meters away, wash your hands regularly. But how much of that is making much of a difference if you've not told people, look, stay at home or you pretty much will be risking your life?
Yeah, or other people's lives.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Like, people aren't thinking of what the damage is going to take on them. And like I said, like, for example, if we're the British government right now, we're waiting for America to make a decision, or waiting for Russia to make a decision, and like, oh, we'll see how it works out for them, and then we'll make it. But that's, again, you're risking X amount of lives by not making enough of a strong decision and saying, look, we're going to stick to it. I mean, we should have expected that. We were going for a soft Brexit and a hard Brexit, and then we weren't at all, and then we are, and then we this has been the problem in the past 4 to 5 years with this Conservative government. We just don't know what to expect. And to be fair, I will give it to Boris Johnson. He has done a lot more than I initially thought he would have done. But still, we need to have a proper lockdown like there was in China.
Yeah.
And there is in Italy, because now China will lift their lockdown on 8th of April, I think.
Will they?
And they've been in lockdown since mid-February, and they've cleaned the streets, pretty much cleaned as much as they can, get rid of the virus. People are stuck inside, people are getting tested, and it's fine. And if you look at Germany, for example, they're testing on a weekly average, I think it is 500,000 people per week, and they've got the lowest mortality rate for the COVID-19. Whereas if you look at us here, especially with the lack of support and funding the NHS has given, we've only got, I think, 27,000 people per week being tested, which is still a lot of people being tested, but that could have been improved by tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if we decided to, again, change the party in power. But also if we decided, look, this is a big problem, let's move our funding away from the things that don't really need it right now, let's push it, let's get the testing kits and let's get everyone tested, make sure everyone's fine. But again, the lack of decision making has cost us here in the UK and around the world a lot of lives.
Yeah. I say especially you can see a big contrast if you compare us right now to China back then. You see videos of them in like hazmat suits in the streets and stuff like that, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And this is the problem where I feel like the mentality of a lot of British people is like sort of not backwards, but not really understanding again the severity of the issue here. Like we heard about on the news 2 months ago, just over a month ago, the Chinese student in London who just got beaten up because he was wearing a surgical mask or whatever mask to protect himself. And then now them same people who are like, oh, why is he wearing a mask? Are wearing them themselves, wearing the gloves and like, oh, stay inside, stay home, stay safe, whatever. But it's taken, again, deaths. It's taken the lives of the people we know for other people to say, oh, you know what? Actually, yeah, this is a serious thing. We should probably keep a lid on it.
Yeah. Especially how simple the solution could be just staying at home. It's not like that hard to do.
100%. Yeah, like I can understand if you're looking at it from a mental health perspective, trying to keep sane in the same four walls for 3 weeks isn't easy, but neither is dying. Like, come on, don't go outside, don't risk yourself, like making dumb decisions for the sake of, oh, I need to feel better, I need to get out of the house. No, you don't. Sit at home, find things to do. Like, it's really easy to, like, I struggled myself personally in the past few days. I've thought, you know what, I'll just sleep through it all, watch this much Netflix and I'll eat this much food, and then I've thought, well, I'm not really doing anything, but it's better than going outside and getting ill.
Yeah, exactly. Or just having the guilt. Like, you should have guilt if you've gone outside, I think.
100%. Like, for example, I seen someone said, I think it was someone else from London that I know sent me a snap from outside their window, and you can see people sat in like groups of like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like almost just nonchalantly just sat down in the garden or wherever in the park and just enjoying the time. Like, think about one of you gets infected and then just like handshakes everyone. Now 10 of you infected, you go home, you shake everyone's hand, that's 100 people infected, doesn't it? It just keeps escalating constantly.
Yeah, I think I read a statistic somewhere that said that if one person getting affected had the potential to spread it to 59,000 people.
Yeah, quite literally, and this is why we need to stay at home, but again, people won't understand that until it's unfortunately too late.
Okay, so the final question is, if you were at the top, so if you were in Boris Johnson's place, if you were Prime Minister, what do you think is missing from the government's action plan?
I think transparency is very important. I think a lot of people are very confused. A lot of people are very scared still. Some of the information coming out of the government at the beginning of the COVID pandemic wasn't clear. It was conflicting information. We weren't sure what kind of route we were supposed to be taking. There was a lot of time wasting. It would have been very different. But I think it boils down to transparency. Like, just try and be as clear as you can with the people so that, you know, you can put us at ease, basically.
Yeah. Great. So that was all the questions I wanted to ask you. Is there anything you'd like to plug before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I want to tell you all about my new digital channel, Fort Culture. As you know, in Yorkshire, we don't say the in words, so it's instead of for the culture, it's Fort Culture. We're going to do 2 live shows at the end of April, I believe, possibly the 23rd and the 30th of April. We're going to have lots of local talent showing like personal training, chefing, singing, musicians, movie madness. We're going to do movie madness.
Yeah.
So there's going to be quite a lot of things to watch. You can follow us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the normal socials. Yeah, Fort Culture.
You'll find a link in the description of this video. And yeah, so it was a pleasure talking to you today, Tanya. Yeah. Okay, let's just wind this down now, wrap it up. So, do you have anything to plug?
I guess my Instagram and my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Talhah Star, TALHAHSTAARH. Again, hopefully links are going to be in the bio. But
links will be in the
I put a new video out. Yeah, I put my first video out again. Header helped me film, so thanks to him. And I'm gonna have a few more videos coming out, hopefully soon, and then after the lockdown eventually. Yeah,
here's a very interesting podcast called Music Means, all about music basically, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah.
But yeah, so a really nice time with you today. And
no worries.
Stay safe. See you later.
Stay safe, stay home.
Yeah. Coronavirus is worldwide international pandemic that is happening right now. If any of these symptoms and you want to seek help, you call 111 instead of going to the hospital or the GP, just because of how contagious this virus really is. And there we have it. Some opinions and thoughts from freelancers about the situation we are in right now. Yeah, it's just this video is not a normal type of video that I've done. Usually I talk about movies, but I also make movies, and I just thought I'd make some type of documentary for the situation we're living in today. Hope I did a good job. I hope you liked it. So if you liked this video, please like, comment and subscribe to see some future videos of mine. You'll see all the links that you need in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, see you next Friday.